Hello fellow simmers, it's Samuel Beeman of BLS here, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the early access version of Train Sim World 4. So this is going to be my first Train Sim World 4 video, and I've got to admit I have actually been really excited about looking at Train Sim World 4, primarily for the Flying Scotsman, but obviously we'll get to that a bit later on in this video. So starting off, we're actually going to have a look around Doncaster. So I am just going to put a disclaimer. I have already had a brief look at Train Sim World 4. This is not a first look. I've already had a brief look round and at some of the stations and some of the locos and units. But you know, I'm just going to be sharing my thoughts and opinions on that within this video. So we're starting off here at Doncaster. The time in game is around 2 o'clock, as seen there. And yeah, basically we're going to have a quick look around Doncaster. So Doncaster station itself is very well done. I've got to admit, I've been train spotting here before at Doncaster in 2019, and it does look pretty spot on to what it was. Obviously these signals are now LEDs, but when I was at Doncaster, they were actually incandescent signals. So they have been updated in recent years, and it's good to see that DTG have taken note of that and actually done it themselves. So yeah, so let's have a little brief look around Doncaster. So here are the cafes. Now this is a brilliant feature for something a little bit different and something that they've never done in Train Sim World before. They've actually added cafeterias and interiors, as well as sound effects as well, which is just absolutely fantastic. As you can hear, look, we've got all our cookies and all our bits and pieces. We've got our sort of sugars there for cups of tea if you want a tea. And we've even got all of the information about the teas and coffees that the shop has for offer. And also we have the sandwich shop. So this sandwich shop here, I actually went to in real life, and I got a nice, lovely cheese toastie from here. They actually do some really nice cheese toasties here. The Doncaster station is actually a nice station, a good station for train spotting actually. But yeah, look what we have here. Look, we've got all of the bits and pieces for your sandwiches. It's sort of like a mini Subway really, this place. And yeah, they do some good sandwiches there. And it's just brilliant to have this all sort of modelled and, you know, and it's all there and present and correct. But yeah, the texturing, as to be expected from Train Sim World, is really, really good. All of the buildings look very nicely done. The texturing is fantastic. We also have the options to go inside the waiting rooms and stuff like that. We also have many collectibles around the route, such as this, where you've got to refill the water. And you've got adding of newspapers and adding of route maps and things like that as well. Obviously all the destination boards work. They tell you all the times for the timetable that's been set up, and obviously the in-game time, which is standard on all Train Sim World routes. One thing I will say is the lighting, to be honest with you, especially at 10 o'clock, it can appear very overexposed. So this is what the game looks like on ultra settings, and as you can see, it does look pretty smart. Although I do find that in some cases the lighting can be pretty overexposed. I think something like that should be looked into if I am to comment about anything. So even though Doncaster looks spectacular, there are some inaccuracies, and I will head over to that now. So one of the big problems with Doncaster station, if we head over, and I'll show you this now. In fact, should have gone on that platform over there. Sorry, it's this platform here, my bad. So if we head down here, okay, so there should be a very important signal box here. Like, there is an important asset missing here, which I find a little sad, because it is quite important to have stuff like that in. So there should be a signal box here And as you can see, instead of a signal box, they have decided to place a warehouse down as a placement, as it were, for the signal box. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to... So that's not the right shot. So the shot I really do need is probably around about here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little comparison shot here of what it looks like in real life to the game. And as you can see, it is missing a very important building there, and instead they've got the warehouses there, which is wrong and kind of annoying because that signal box is right next to the track, and obviously that is quite an important asset. They've done a signal box at Peterborough, but for some reason they haven't done it here at Doncaster. Any reasons to why that is, I have no idea. So, you know, DTG might need to sort that out in the future, perhaps add it in on a later date. Mind you, it doesn't go any further than Doncaster, so that could be a reason to why they didn't do it. But hey ho. That is also another thing I will say about this route, is it is quite a missed opportunity. I personally, if I was to model this route in Train Sim World, I would have done Peterborough to York. So, you know, York isn't that far from Doncaster, okay? You could have just gone a little bit further to York. And with the National Railway Museum there, it kind of makes sense, if you're going to add Scotsman with this, to have the National Railway Museum in there, because it's its current home. And I can understand Doncaster was where the Flying Scotsman was built, but the Doncaster Works building that Flying Scotsman was actually built in is no longer there. So it would make sense more for them to go all the way to York and, in a sense, have the NRM within this, so that it has its current home in game, you know. I think that's a missed opportunity, because the East Coast Main Line, I mean, they've modelled Doncaster to Peterborough, which, to be honest, they're not really main stations of the East Coast Main Line. The ones that are probably the most important are York and King's Cross. So I would have loved to have seen them model that, and I think that is a missed opportunity, and it would be fantastic to see those particular stations within this route. Something else that is a bit annoying about Doncaster here is the fact that this should be a mesh, not a window. So that should be like a mesh metallic fence kind of thing, but they've put it as a window, so that is pretty wrong. But this bit here over to platform 0 is very smart. This is 100% accurate. This kind of footbridge here, where it kind of looks like one of those corridors that lead to an aeroplane, that is this is spot on. This really is. So they've done a good job on that front. So yeah, it does look nice, and you know, we've got like signs and things as well. Although I do find like some of the texturing on the signs to be a little bit crud. It's, you know, you've got high detailed textures on trains and buildings and stuff, but I find that some of the texturing on the signs are a bit blurry and a bit pixelated, which kind of lets it down. That's something else I would say about it. Oh look, we've got an Azuma coming in here now. This is one of the trains that comes with the route. I mean, the detailing on the Azuma looks absolutely stunning, and obviously that is to be expected on Train Sim World trains. They do very well on the detailing and texturing of all of the locomotives and units within the game, I must admit. So now that that is halting into the station, we're just going to head over to the platform that it's in, and just take a little look of the Azuma before it departs the station. So this is really nice here, where you've got the underpass and that's done very well. This particular platform is where I spotted at in real life, and yeah, it was pretty cool to do that. So yes, this is the Azuma. The detailing looks very smart. You know, you've got all of the appropriate buttons and warning stickers. The livery application is spot on. I can't really see any faults with it. They've got the LNER livery, pretty spot on, and as well as up to the branding, and you know we've got the LED lights, all the riveting and everything present. The window screen wiper. It just looks very, very smart. It really does. Well, for some reason the door closed and then opened again. That's weird. I thought it was departing then. But yeah, as you can see, it is very, very nice. Oh. This is what the interior looks like. But yeah, it does look very, very nice, I've got to say. I mean, look, you've got the advertisements like LNER, let's eat at your seat. Can you go in the toilets in here? Let me just bring the thing up. Doesn't look like it, sadly. That's a shame. It would be nice to kind of go in the toilets inside the units as like a novelty feature, you know. The seat moquette looks very nicely detailed. I've seen these in real life and it does look pretty spot on. We've got all the electronic boards present and correct with all the signs, etc. See, these signs and stuff, these are all pretty high quality, but signs and stuff on the stations and things, they don't look as high quality as this. So I think it is a shame. Well, look at this. You can stand at the guard station. That's pretty cool. So, okay. Right. Well, we've reached the edge of the represented area because the route doesn't go any further. Great. Okay, guys. Sorry about that. That was a bit of a hiccup there, but we're now back at Doncaster, as you can see here. We'll have a little bit more of a look around, an in-depth look of the Azuma in another video, but obviously for now it's just sort of my first impressions of Train Sim World 4 and just sort of having a look around it. So obviously now this is platforms this is 4 and 5, so we're just going to have a little brief look around here. So we've got the Costa Coffee Cafe here, again present and correct. Obviously they haven't actually they haven't used the actual Costa Coffee branding because obviously, you know, for licensing stuff. But yeah, we've got all the people sat on their chairs and stuff. One thing I will say about it though is I do find that the people, like the models of passengers, look a bit naff. I've actually seen better passenger models in previous routes and DLCs. They haven't done a very good job on these. They look very CGI, very cartoony. They're not the best representations of models for passengers. But as I say, the detailing on the stations and buildings themselves are absolutely fantastic. Let's go into Harrogate, look at that. One of the, probably my most, there is a novelty feature on these stations though, and I am going to show you that now. So, I'm pretty sure most of us has always wanted this, or to always have this sort of novelty feature. So I'm going to show you guys that now and show you what that is. So if we head over to the gentlemen's toilets, you'll see that we've got a little thing here which says push and pull, and as you can see we can actually go inside the men's room, which is It's cool. I love how they've done this. It's a completely pointless feature, you know, because why would you have this in a train sim? But just to have it here, and the fact that you can have a little bit of an interactive feature here and walk more around the station, open up doors to rooms. I think that's absolutely fantastic, and it would be nice to see this done more often on like other stations as well. I mean, not just necessarily with toilets, but with waiting rooms, ticket offices. Just more interactivity in walking around the interiors of the station buildings and things. I think that would be great to have in Train Sim World, especially as it's a more sort of walk around open world FPS, as it were. Well, it's not a first person shooter, but a first person game, as it were. Station signs, yeah, look alright, I suppose. This is the 66 included with the route. Unfortunately, though, the 66s are all RHTT weathered, so unfortunately you don't get like that sort of mix between like clean and weathered 66s. They're all just the same weathering, which is a shame. So you don't really get much of a mix and match. I suppose when you download like stuff from the livery designer, though, like the livery sharing hub, though, you'd get a mix of different 66s, which will sort of make up for that. The footbridges you can cross over, as you can see here. They're all present and correct. Obviously we can't go any further than that. You can also head over to the works, so obviously the famous Doncaster works. You can actually head over to the yards, and you can operate the ground frames or junction levers within the yard as well, which is very nice, and I'll show you that now. So this is obviously the sites of the Doncaster works. So there used to be a traverser here years ago, but they've obviously got rid of that. As you can see here, built 1956 Doncaster. This is the Doncaster Works train workshop. So the original Doncaster Works where Flying Scotsman was built is no longer there, and I'll get to that in a minute. But if we head over to the junction levers, you'll see that they are manually operational. Here we are. So if you wanted to like do a free roam or something, or spawn a couple of trains in here, or do scenarios or do runs in here, you can, which is a nice touch. So yeah, so I'm just going to show you guys where the original Doncaster Works buildings were for like creation of like the A3s, Flying Scotsman and stuff like that. So you think that Doncaster Works was actually massive, and it's been cut down massively. There's not really much of it left. But you can see we've got some nice features like bogey wheels and bits and pieces just sort of chucked around. Just sort of adds to the detail, which is nice. And I think routes like this, well, games like this even, it's important to have that clutter, because you're walking around, you're seeing everything in a first person perspective. So we can see these old tracks here, like these abandoned tracks. Through here would have been the location of where the old original Doncaster Works was, but nowadays it is just grass, and well, actually this house has been built over there now, so this isn't like 100% up to date, this route. It's like based probably a couple of years ago, because it's before the houses were built over that grass section, and some of the incandescent signals can also still be seen in some areas of the route. So I think that now that we've sort of had a sort of look round Doncaster, we should have a look at probably the main thing that we really want to have a look at, and that is the Flying Scotsman. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit out of the game, get us into the Flying Scotsman, and take a little look around her. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Here we are inside the cab of the famous Flying Scotsman, and I've got to say, the texturing and the overall detail of this is beautiful. It really is. They have done an absolutely smashing job with this. As you can see, we've got the max speed, 75 mile an hour at the top there. We've got all of like the grime and all of the, you know, just weathering detail in the cab just to make it a little bit more used. We've got all of this little bits and pieces, and it just looks, it's breathtaking. It really is. It really is lovely, I've got to admit. You know, you've got like the difference in colour on the on all of the jigs and fixtures, and it is mind blowing. I've got to admit, it is mind blowing. They have done a smashing job inside this cab. So I'm just going to get up and have a look round. So here we have our firebox. I'm pretty sure we can open that. Yep, there we go. And look, you've got the fire animation and everything as well, and it just it looks spectacular. It really does. Yeah, very impressed with that. The fireman doesn't have an animation as of yet. They just sort of sit there in the second man's seat. They don't actually fire, which is a shame, but hey ho. I mean, the fireman animation in the Spirit of Steam wasn't the best anyway. It was a bit glitchy and horrible, to be honest with you. If you do want to see that, check out my Spirit of Steam video, part 1, and you'll see exactly what I mean. Right, so looking around the tender, we've got the coal door here, which we can open and close, which is fantastic. We can open up the GSMR cabinet, so we can get to the GSMR and the phone, etc., which is just, again, really nice touch. We've got the coal door there, we can view the coal. It's a shame that it is 2D coal. I mean, the texture isn't that bad, but it would be nice to have some 3D elements in there if they could, considering this is an Unreal Engine, you know, and the graphics are a lot more better than previous games. So it would have been nice to have some 3D coal. But then again, it might use a lot of resources. But one of the more interesting features about the cab is the fact that you can actually walk through the corridor tender. Now, this is something that we've never ever seen within a train simulator, and I think it is wicked that they've actually modelled it. I've never been through here in real life. I've never actually been on the Flying Scotsman in real life, and I've never been through a corridor tender before. So this is brilliant to see this. So I think if we crouch through there we go. We can actually walk through the corridor, and you know, this is brilliant. I've got to admit, it is a lovely feature. We're not going to go through the coaches, so not just yet anyway. Anyway, now that we've had a look at that, and I've just shown you the amount of detail that they've gone into the cab here, let's have a look at the outside of the steam locomotive. But just, you know, take it all in. You know, just look at this. Look at this detail. I mean, this is absolutely fantastic. Look at all the riveting on it. The visuals on this are stunning. They really are. You know, it feels like you're right next to Scotsman, and it is beautiful. Just look at it. You know, you can just look at it and think, wow, that's beautiful, because it is. You know, we've got the nameplate there, all 3D, present and correct. You know, this is the first time that we've ever seen an A3 Flying Scotsman model since 2007, 2008. And guys, just look at her. You know, it is a beautiful model. It really is. They've captured this to a T. Well done, DTG. And, you know, I don't usually say that, but I'm going to be honest. They have done marvellous job on this beautiful engine. Oh, just look at the texturing. Just look at it. You know, it's stunning. And this is what I've got the game for. No. Yeah, so this is what I've got the game for. You know, for this beauty. It is marvellous. Cylinder drains all there. Fantastic. Right, okay, so now I had a little brief, you know, just a look around this beautiful machine. Let's go into the coaching stock and just get a brief look at those before we depart. So it's got a mix between sort of Mark 1s and Mark 2s. So you've got the Mark 1 BG, which is just basically a reskin. It's a recycled model from the Northern Transpennine DLC. So there's really just not much difference in there to what it was in the Northern Transpennine. And I believe that these West Coast Mark II carriages are also just, yeah, it's just as I expected. These are also just re-releases of the Northern Transpennine Mark II coaches. So yeah, there's not really too much to say about these. We've got the difference in, so obviously you've got the corridor version and you've got the TSO version, which is this here. So we've got the open ones and the corridors, just as a difference in, you know, the toilets don't open obviously. But yeah, Peterborough Station itself looks pretty spectacular. It does look as it should in real life. Just place some newspapers down there. We're not going to take a look round Peterborough. We'll do that in another video. We just want to give Scotsman a brief drive just to show you what it's like, and then we'll end off at that. So we'll close the doors. I just did unlock. Said unlock doors when okay, fair enough. Right. So now we've got the road, we'll see how she drives. So as you can see, we've got reverser in mid gear here. So obviously we want to put this straight into forwards. Our cylinder cocks should already be open, and it's set to be open from the stand. So what we do is I'll release our train brake now and get underway. So a quick toot on the whistle, which to be fair sounds pretty accurate. It's a pretty rubbish teapot whistle that the Flying Scotsman has. Oh, and as you can see, we just wheel slipped there, so we need to take it steady as we depart. The cab views are pretty cool. So you've got a view there to the left, and you've got the lean out view. You've got a random coal bunker view. We've got the lean out view on the fireman's side, a little bit there, a view in the middle, and then back again. So there is a few little cab views which are pretty cool. Ah yes. Now she does tend to slip a lot, I must admit. I have noticed that. So you've got to be careful on departure and take it easy. It kind of has sort of physics of a Bullitt Pacific. It's rather interesting. I don't know if A3s, like, you know, slip that much, but I don't know, I'm not a huge LNER fan. Right, let's just have a little listen to the whistle again. Not badly looped, and it does sound pretty cool, doesn't it? But it is honestly fantastic to have this training game. So one thing that you guys will notice about the sounds is it's quite offbeat, and I believe that's because DTG recorded the Scotsman when it was offbeat, so it doesn't necessarily sound very healthy. Back the reverser slightly as we're on the move to save steam. But you'll see that, you know, all the motion works. The reversal rod actually moves when you change direction. She does look gorgeous. It does look spectacular. Azuma. At least it tells you on driver assist that you have to back the reverser slightly. I need to turn that off, to be fair. As you can hear, she does sound slightly weird and offbeat. As I say, this is due to the fact that they recorded her when she was offbeat, so it doesn't sound very healthy. Nothing on the back, all solo. The particle effects are not really the best thing in the world, to be honest. I think they could be better. They look kind of fake. They're not very high definition visually. But I will say this, it is a massive improvement over DTG's centenary add-on that they released for Train Simulator Classic, because that was pretty horrendous. That was a rubbish Scotsman. That was just like a reskin of an old model. This is a completely new model, and it's just fantastic to see a new A3 within a Train Simulator game. Look at that, parallel running. Whoa! Yes. Old versus new. Look at that. Beautiful shot. It's also incredibly loud, but then that's like normal for a steam engine, isn't it? So the route itself, honestly, I give them credit. They've actually done a really good job on some of the line side foliage. You know, it doesn't look too bland. There is actually a lot to see, which is great. You know, we've got pylons and things. You know, you've got distance scenery. They've actually done a fairly decent job of this. So, how does it drive? Well, it doesn't have the simulated steam chest. Well, I mean, I think it does slightly, but it's not the best. It's not like something out of Train Sim Classic, which, you know, it works fine. Why is it doing this? Where to next, Sam? So have I like reached the end of... I don't really understand what's going on here, because for some reason I travel like to a certain distance and then it just stops me and says that I can't do any more. Is that like an early access thing? Does it like not let you travel the entire route or something? I don't know. But yeah, anyway, on to my thoughts of Scotsman's drivability. So the steam chest is it's I think it's sort of there, but it sort of isn't. It doesn't necessarily act like some advanced steam engines that are in Train Sim Classic, so I think that in the means of drivability for steam engines, TS Classic is a little bit more supreme. I feel that Scotsman is kind of more aimed for people who have never really drove a steam engine before, who are learning how a steam loco works. So I'm guessing, well, in my opinion, it's good in the sense that it's a good starting engine for people who are getting used to how operating a steam engine works, and it's done good on that front. Modelling obviously looks absolutely superb. Can't knock it. It looks absolutely stunning. It's beautiful, and it is a hindsight massive difference over to that rubbish centenary add-on that we got for Train Simulator Classic by DTG the other year. Detailing on the route, yeah, pretty good so far. It it has all of the line side foliage. It looks great. We saw a little bit of the Azuma, obviously. That looks great. I will do some more videos on this route, and I will do some more videos on the Azuma in the future. But I think, just for looking around and seeing what it looks like as a gameplay front so far, I think you can all agree it does look promising. So while it's taken us back here, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the main menu screen and just have a brief look at that before we finish off. So as you can hear, the menu music has changed. As default, you don't actually get menu music, so you have to go into the settings to turn it on. I just wanted to turn it on because I was curious to see what the menu music is. And to be honest, it's not too bad. It's pretty cool. So obviously, the new features you have, Livery Designer has been updated to have a redo and undo button. And you pretty much get unlimited amount of layers now. I think it's like been expanded to 1,000 layers instead of like the 300 layers that you used to get before. The scenario planner, I believe, has had an alteration. I haven't yet checked that out, but I will do at some point in the future. What else is there? So you get obviously a free roam mode. And how you do that, you go into a route. So for example, let's go to the training centre. There we go. So you've got a free roam mode there, so you can explore the free roam sandbox. So let's spawn ourselves at Central Square. So this is free roam mode, and according to Mr. Braddock, what I have to do is go up to the track, and press the tab key, and it says here spawn new train. Okay, so let's spawn Flying Scotsman in, you know, just on its own. Okay, so here we go, and you can click on any track you want, pretty much spawn it anywhere you like, and press X, and there she is. Look at that, spawned in all her glory and looking absolutely stunning. I think it's really cool how you can spawn trains in. I mean, just look at the detail on the rear here. Look at the corridor tender and everything like that. You know, you've got all the little nuts and bolts, and yeah, it's very, very nice. I mean, to be honest, the buffer texture looks a bit pants. That could be better. That looks very like, yeah, that's not great, to be honest with you. But yeah, look, we've got the Buckeye as well. Look, we can move that up and down. Coupling hook. You can choose between a hook or Buckeye, so it's obviously compatible with all stock. We've got lamps that we can add, red lamp, high intensity headlamp. You can switch between any of those that you wish. Can you do this on the front as well? Oh yes, look, I can stand up here. That's excellent. So you can stick a lamp on there. Again, these are all changeable again. That's pretty cool. Can you set a lamp at the top bracket? You can. Look, we've got a lamp at the top bracket as well. Pretty cool. It would have been nice if they actually added headboards with this though, I must admit. That would have been really cool. But yeah, it honestly looks gorgeous. It really does. So let's spawn another train in. So So if we've got a class 66, so where's the class 66? EWS class 66. Let's just spawn that in on its own. So can you couple these together, I wonder? Probably not this side because we got the hook there. Right, let's give it a try. I love how the buffers go like that, it's really cool. Right. Oh, you can couple them. Okay, now that is cool. So you can make your own like double headers and stuff. I like it. I like it a lot. So it does have a lot better playability, I've got to admit. It has very much improved on the playability front. Just take that out. Yard work. Let's break the lease. Let's have a look, see what she Yep, that all looks pretty good. Right, let's see what this looks like then. I knew that. I knew that. Yes. Oh, listen to that. Listen to that. Oh, yes. Okay. This game is getting promising, I've got to admit. The features are there. They are getting better. On each version of Train Sim World, they are getting better. I think this is a good thing to end off on, I think. So I think we've established that the whole overall game has had an improvement in the means of features. We are going to explore more of Trains in World 4 in the future. I do hope you've enjoyed this video of a sort of a first sort of look around of Train Sim World 4 and my thoughts on it. And yeah, let me know in the comments, guys, what you think about it, and if there's anything else you want me to take a look at or review within this game, let me know. So yeah, so thank you for watching, guys. This has been Samuel Beeman of BLS, and that was my look at Train Sim World 4, and I'll see you guys soon. Goodbye for now.